those little squats get you stronger than fuck. Plus, they keep the dick harder than death. You wake up in the morning with that 14-year-old dick that's burning a hole in your pocket. And mom is already cooking breakfast for the kids. I got to sit there with a heart on it. Think about what the fuck, fucking pure strength, you cocksuckers. See what those squats do to your dick.
It's nice to wake up with a heart on it.
And all these little half of fruit cakes. I suffer from erectile dysfunction. I'm over here 56 with a fucking rock between my pocket that King Young-hoon would look at and go, what the fuck is that missile? The Iranians would have dropped it on Arabs, everything with this fucking, I mean, it's a dick of death. It's the truth. I get dirty thoughts at night.
And you think it's because of the leg press?
I think it definitely is. I really believe that squatting, I started squatting after I had knee surgery. Mm-hmm. Just fucking around with it on my own at the gym. I started doing it at the Y. Just squatting, because I always knew that if you squatted first, it released something in your body to make you. And I had the knee surgery, and within 4 months, I knocked my wife up at the age of 49 years old. This is a guy who doesn't do pills or drink alcohol, sleeps 7 hours a night, is a little overweight, and he smokes pot like a motherfucker. So Harvard said that if you smoke reefer, your sperm cell go down. When women want to get knocked up, they have to tell their husbands to stop smoking pot because the sperm cell knocks. So here's a guy.
No tight underwear either.
Lee, at this time, tell him what we were doing.
2,000 milligrams a night.
We were eating 2,000 milligrams of stars and chocolates.
And that was just what I was eating. You always said, I've had eight things today.
Yeah, we were doing everything. We were doing ketamine, whatever came on the show, we were getting down with no delay. This is no blow, no heroin, no oxys.
That's it.
But everything else, every man for himself. We're in codeine tablets. AJ Benze came on with fucking penzanols and fucking fentanyl.
He gave me cat tranquilizers.
Oh, I gave him crack. Oh, yeah. We go deep on this show. But how do you explain somebody being with somebody for 13 years, having sex with them on a regular level, and all of a sudden now, yes, they're 2 years off of drugs, and I start squatting again. And when I started squatting, I was squatting with 135, 5 sets of 8, but I was working more on my form than to get hurt because I knew I was 49 years old, and I would do 3 sets of 8 deadlifts. But when I walked out of there, I could tell something was going on, and then I started getting hornier and hornier and hornier, and I knew I put it back to being 16 when I would hang out with, from 16 to 21, I hung out with bodybuilders, and then in Colorado, those bodybuilders they came from Brown University. So my buddies from Jersey had gone to Brown, and at Brown they picked up cleans, jerks, deadlifts, and squats. So there was no more curling allowed. They had a no curling rule in the house. If we see you fucking doing curls, you're out. So every day, one guy was a garbage man, 2 guys were construction guys, and myself. We would meet downstairs at 6 and do this clean whatever program, but we incorporated Ira Wolf's. Ira Wolf was a Jewish guy in our neighborhood that went to the Olympics as an assistant strength and conditioning coach in '84. And his principles were the power of 10 in 1984. When you worked out with him before football, before basketball, if you didn't play football, you had to do cross country with him. It really wasn't cross country running. It was a little bit of sprinting and a lot of heavy weight, low reps, slow. Bench squats, he would call them. I still remember his bench squat, and I still remember my vertical jump going from 28 inches to now I could grab the fucking rim And my freshman year, I was jumping up and grabbing the rim. I couldn't slam dunk. And I always accredited that to his training. His training was not 2 hours, guys. His training was very quick. Bing, bing, bench squats, overhead press, something else, pull-ups. And I remember I couldn't do pull-ups, so he would put the bench under for me and just make me hold at a certain time and then let go. I remembered all that shit. And, you would walk out of there not exhausted, but you thought every vein in your body was about to pop. And then he'd make you do cross-country, but 340s, 560s, and then a 100-yard dash. And you went home, and I'd see you Wednesday. So when I read about all this,
you knew.
It made sense. Let's kick this motherfucker.
We're good to go whenever you're ready, buddy.
All right.
I thought we were on.
Greetings from Podcastville. It's Monday, the 23rd of September. You better get your shit together, motherfuckers. The podcast is brought to you by CBDLion.com. Listen, when it comes to CBD, everybody's got the fucking answer for you, but who takes care of you like Uncle Joey? Nobody. CBD Lion is the way to go. Go to CBDLion.com right now and look at their third-party test results. Listen, they make their product from start to finish. This is no voodoo store or some fucking gasoline station. You can't be that fucking stupid. Uncle Joey's here to tell you, CBDLion.com. Also, the church is brought to you by, listen, hiring can be a slow process, guys. It's 1,000 things that could go wrong. ZipRecruiter is the way to go. They've put a 60-second video live type thing. It's Dylan Moskowitz is a real ZipRecruiter customer. This is a real testimony. I want you to go over there and take a look at this. ZipRecruiter doesn't play. They've got technology that identifies you with the right people with the right experience and invites them to apply to your job so you get the qualified candidates quickly. All right? So, with results like that, it's no wonder 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. It's that easy. ZipRecruiter is effective for businesses of all sizes. Whether you got 2 guys selling hot dogs or 300 people making shirts, ZipRecruiter is the website for you. And now, for right now, Uncle Joey's going to give it to you for free. You're like, Joey, what are you talking about? Free. I'm telling you it's free. I'm going to give you a shot. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/church. That's CUHURCH. That's ZipRecruiter.com/church. Listen, ZipRecruiter is the smartest way to hire. I'm here to save you time and aggravation. But besides time and aggravation and getting you all hooked up with CD, I'm going to give you an opportunity to make a little do-re-mi. You're like, Joey, what's do-re-mi? Are you going to teach me how to sing? Fuck no. I'm going to teach you how to make some paper, because the church is also brought to you by MyBookie. Listen, if you found $100 in the street, would you pick it up or would you keep walking? Half of you dummies will keep walking and dial 911. Fuck that shit. You put that money in your pocket. You go buy a half a gram of blow and you tell your girlfriend to polish that asshole. You're coming over. Of course you take the money. So why do you keep picking winners and not betting them? That's why you got to deal with MyBookie. It's fast, it's easy, and they pay when you win. Let's face it, where you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. If you're trying to bet on the NFL, baseball, and we're going into playoff baseball now, bitches, MMA, whatever, MyBookie's got it. I wouldn't be telling you guys to bet with them if they weren't the best. Do the smart thing. If you're going to bet this football season, bet with MyBookie. Did you know that you could bet on games after kickoff? You're like, Joey, what are you talking about? Yeah. By the second half, if it looks like Lee put the bet in for you and you're going to lose, you can always just take the other side. If you're that kind of guy that likes to bet a little and win a lot, try a parlay. This is the way to go. Double your first deposit now. Use promo code CHURCH to get a 100% bonus on your initial deposit of $1,000. Visit mybookie.ag today. That's mybookie.ag. And don't forget to use promo code CHURCH, CHURCH, when creating your account. You play, you win, you get paid. Don't forget Thursday, I'll be on Instagram with Uncle Joey's My Bookie Day. is Thursday. So go over there right now and check out, because it's fucking, you should be ashamed of yourself that you're missing out on money. Take this motherfucking muley. Oh shit, it's a beautiful motherfucking day to be alive. It's going to be a great week. You got the world by the balls. Don't worry about nothing. It could be worse. You could be Antonio Brown waiting for a fucking phone call. You know what I'm saying? Poor Antonio's sitting there. The phone's going to ring. No, it ain't, bitch. The cops are going to come with handcuffs. That's all that's coming. On the show today, tremendous friend, guest, trainer, entrepreneur, the whole fucking pioneer, Andrew Zickerman, right?
Adam
Zickerman. Andrew, what the fuck? I'm nervous. The original Christ Killer's with me here, Lee Syatt, after a long weekend. He's got stories from San Diego. Some girl got into the car and wanted to sexually abuse him, and he went the other way and down 911 as usual. And he brought.
She was married. And then she started shit. It was. I have like 8 stories like this. I don't know what it is about me that attracts the crazy. She wanted to kill her ex-boyfriend's chickens. It was the weirdest night of my life.
Sure it was. And the whole time, nothing. You didn't have to ask her.
She was married.
Who cares? They get in your car, all bets are off. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're like a Lyft driver. You know what I'm saying?
You're not supposed to suck your Lyft driver's dick.
Well, whatever. Adam, what's happening, bro?
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
What brings you to LA? Absolutely. I had a great time training at your gym while I was there to shoot the Soprano film. And that was
fun.
A great experience. You know, the whole thing that you do is still so far hidden from the world. And I tapped onto the power of 10, like I just said to you, in 1980. It had to be 1979 with this cat named Ira Wolf. And it was basically a way of working out that, you know, all your other coaches were making you run hills, and you know, you went home that night and every bone in your body ached. You know, Lee and I were part of a kettlebell class. You know, you look back at it now. He had us swinging 80-pound kettlebells in this weird positions. And if you went to the class on Tuesday, you couldn't walk till fucking Friday. I mean, not walk. And you have to ask yourself, how is this benefiting my body? This, for the last couple of years since I had the baby, my desire is to live a healthier type of lifestyle, the best that I can. You know, I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to eat a pastrami sandwich when I'm in New York, but I won't eat the fries. I'll have a salad with it, so we'll go halfway. But one of the things was I was trying to find a system that would work for a man over 50. I started reading about it. I really loved jiu-jitsu, but that was a 2 or 3 day recovery. And then every time you went, your shoulder hurt. Somebody got you in a shoulder lock. Somebody got you an arm bar. And then I wanted to kick the caloric burn up. So I went with Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu. Muay Thai, an hour of Muay Thai, you can burn up to 1,000 calories. That's a fat burner. Plus it would help a 50-year-old breathe a little better, whatever. But I felt there was something missing. After that 3 or 4 year experiment, I really thought there was something missing from my life. And unlike other people, I always enjoyed weightlifting. Since the age of 15, I always enjoyed 5 sets of 6, straight bar, just the main body parts, no fucking around. That's a bench press, incline, bent over row, pull over, curl, tricep extension, squat, and you're out of there.
That's all you need.
That was the 80s. The 80s, you were everybody wanted to be Mike Metzger in the 80s. Everybody was Mike Metzger was the guy that devised the program.
Mike Mentzer.
Mentzer.
Yeah, M-E-N.
You're gonna correct me a lot today.
No problem.
I'm still coming down from that battery ass of the Guns N' Roses last night. Mike Mentzer had a workout that he did. What was it? 20 sets per body part. So if you did your chest, you had to do 5 bench presses, 5 inclines, 5 dumbbells, and then a set of flies 5 times. You think about that. It's a lot of fucking work 5 days a week. And you had to cover, there was either the push and pull method or there was just a straight up, 3 days a week of squats. And I had friends that made, we were big in that in North Bergen, New Jersey. I still remember my buddy making Puerto Rican squat machines with the wire, and they would get their uncle to weld the piece, and they would put two 35-pound plates with a wire string, and they would get a broomstick, and we would pull it down at the house. And, this was, everybody had their own homemade gym.
That's really cool, actually.
Everybody, and everybody had different techniques, but there was this one kid, Fernie, that disappeared for a summer. He's Cuban. He ate steak and black beans and rice every day for a summer, and he stuck to a regimen of 5 sets of 6, which included behind-the-neck presses, and we were all gung-ho on it. So the whole neighborhood wanted to get big. Some of us did Winstrol and Winnie V. Some of us didn't, because I don't like needles. So it was always something that I really enjoyed. So when I was looking for that gap in what was going on in my life, I wanted to burn more calories, I ran across your book one night online. And I read, it was excerpts of your book and what your message was.
I never asked you actually how you found.
Yeah, no, that's how I found excerpts of your book. And then I found your gym. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, it's like I could fly to New York twice a week to train with the man who wrote this book. So for the last 5 years, I've been going to this place to eat the Green Apple, because they have the best heavenly chicken, no points on Weight Watchers. It's heaven chicken in like a light sauce with no sugar and white rice. And I'll go up there, and it's 6 points for the rice. And right after I shot my Netflix special, and I thought my life was a mess, there was no parking on the street, so I parked in the back. And as I walked out, I looked, and there was this small boutique, very, what you'd say in my world, LA-ish type of gym. Like I had to go in there and talk about, my service dog, and I had to go and talk about, because it's next to a yoga joint. And I've sat there many of hours eating Chinese food with my wife or Lee or friends or agents, and I have sat there and watched these fucking yoga people, walk out with their tea, eating chia seeds on the way out and faking the funk. And you look at this gym, and they had a pamphlet. And I took the pamphlet and read it, and I took it home, and I go, Jesus, God works in mysterious ways. And I called them up, and I went for an initial consultation. And I got to be honest with you, the first 3 weeks, I thought it was kind of bullshit. I'm like, I got taken. That's what I get for being a fucking asshole. There's a CrossFit gym by my house. I could go on any Groupon. And right now in Studio City, there's 1,000 strength gyms that'll let you go in there and do whatever the fuck you want. And there was an interesting strength-based school in Burbank that they made you strength lift and then do jiu-jitsu. I liked it, but I'm 56. Who the fuck's got that time? But I gotta do curls, I gotta do squats, and then go on the mat and show how the squats work in my jiu-jitsu. So that's how I found you, Adam, was through the book, little excerpts. Mm-hmm. They spoke a lot about Ken Hutchinson, the guy that did the studies in '82. Ken Hutchins. With the older people. But it also, I yelped him, and they said he's a dick. So they said to reach out to you. No, I'm just teasing you.
He's eccentric.
He's very eccentric.
He has his enemies.
And they just said that you have new articles in Vanity and all these magazines. And I just became very interested in your science and how you got involved in this.
Yeah, well, I give myself credit not for pioneering this, because it was Ken Hutchins and it was Arthur Jones, the Nautilus founder. And the Mike Mensers. Mike Menser was very close with Arthur Jones.
Tell these motherfuckers about Tom Platz. Can you make my thighs look like Tom Platz in 6 weeks?
Yeah, well, no. I don't think so. It's hard to know. I mean, genetics is a big factor in all of this. And we don't know if you've ever achieved your genetic potential and how you did it, so it's possible to make your legs like his. I know I can't make my legs like his, my skinny ass Jewish legs, there's no way. But, going back to how my involvement in this technique was just hearing these guys, these obscure voices that no one wanted to listen to because conventional exercise and marketing was taking over cardio and Jane Fonda and all that stuff. So it's hard to break through those voices, and less was more, in these ideas. So I was like, this is something, because I was like you. You're talking about all the stuff you did and how you got hurt. That's what happened to me. I got very hurt doing all the crazy stuff. I was working in a lab. I was a scientist early. I graduated with a degree in science, and I thought I was going to be in research my whole life. And I'm in the lab. I'm a low man on a totem pole. There's all these really smart researcher biochemists there, and I'm just out of school, and I'm washing test tubes and stuff. And but I am the only jock there. I'm the only guy there that cares about exercise. You got all these science nerds. And so here I am proselytizing about exercise, showing off, telling them you all have to exercise, you'll have to exercise. And my boss, a genius guy, says to me, Adam, I hear you talking about exercise a lot, that we should all do this, we should all do that, and we watch you, and you're working out every day, and you're doing this, and you're doing that. I got to say, you look like shit. I'm like, whoa. And that really took me aback, and he went on to explain what he meant. He says, listen, you look good. You're 19 years old. How bad can someone look at 19 years old? But you're always hurt. You're sick all the time. You're nursing injuries. You've already had back surgery from an exercise injury. If that's what exercise is about, count me out. And it wasn't until many years later that I came across Ken Hutchins and Arthur Jones when I realized that, and this is a big moment in my life, because I always had what my boss said in the back of my mind, but it never really clicked until I was reading Ken Hutchins, and I realized that what good is exercise and what good is getting fit if it's going to undermine your health? My dad is a perfect example of somebody that was fit his whole life, and now he's had double bypass surgery. He can't walk. He's a walker. His quality of life sucks, ironically, because of how he exercised. He beat himself into the ground with orthopedic problems and all this talk about cardio and running marathons. Meanwhile, he's had triple bypass surgery. I was like questioning all these, like a scientist says, if there's an exception to the rule is wrong. That's Richard Feynman, the Nobel Prize winning physicist, who said that from Caltech. He, with all this cardio going on, how come orthopedic surgeons are booming? Obesity is higher than ever if it's supposed to burn all these calories. I was like, there's got to be something to this. This is not the answer. We don't know everything there is to know about exercise. We have the zeitgeist in our society now, that there's two types of exercise, cardio and strength training. That's changed. It's not true that it's not separate anymore. It's work out hard, like you were talking about, like that Jewish guy you're talking about, Ira Wolf, I think you said his name is. He knew, he had this intuition. That was back in 82. He said, lift weights slowly, less is more. You do the basic exercise, you do the full body.
Full form. He focused on full form.
He had that intuition.
And the breathing, which at 19, 16, and 17, you're looking at somebody going, fuck you, I don't need my breathing.
Breathing's amazing. That's amazing that he would actually talk about breathing.
He worked on breathing before you put a bar on your neck or got into a rack. He would make you do the movement of the squat to the breathing, but you went away from it. You didn't think, wrong.
Relax, breathe.
Wrong. If you hear all that, you're not doing something. And you didn't realize it. I didn't realize it till 7 years later when I was swimming. I went to Boulder and joined the master swimming program. If you swim like a gorilla, see how long you'll last. If you relax your body like water, like Bruce Lee said, and just let that wrist take you, and all of a sudden you'll swim 2 more miles because you're not tense. When we swim, we feel like we got to splashing. And look at the guy next to you. He's not even fucking making noise, but he's not burning any energy either. And that was like rule number whatever in your book. Don't hold your breath.
Yes, breathing, as you know.
Breathing, don't hold your breath.
Nice, free, relaxed
your
breathing.
Your blood pressure goes
up. Your performance goes down. You're trying to get the most out of your muscles, and you're depriving them of oxygen. Stupid.
So back to where you came up with this whole angle.
Well, like I said, I didn't come up with it. So like here I am. I'm like, remember I have my boss's voice in the back of my head, and then Ken Hutchins starts talking. Then I read Ken Hutchins. He's like, you got to breathe. Less is more. We're killing ourselves. You don't have to lock out your joints. One set to failure. I was like, oh my God. I mean, all of a sudden, the voice of my boss back in the laboratory just came to me. I'm like, he was right the whole time. He was right. And then it took me to hear it a second time from Ken Hutchins many years later, many injuries later, to realize, oh my God, we're approaching this all wrong. It's muscle failure, not how you got to muscle failure. It's about getting to muscle failure and not fucking yourself up in the process. And like you said, you're 50 years old. What are you going to do now? Jiu-jitsu? Yeah, you can get in great damn shape doing jiu-jitsu, but you can also get seriously hurt doing jiu-jitsu.
And then you're out for 6 months, so it's the law of diminishing returns. I see the top kid over there had bursitis. He didn't know what was going on. His knee, he had a staph infection in his fucking knee. He had surgery fucking
That's
Friday.
serious stuff. That's serious stuff.
This is something so I'm not looking to get off. Remember, I just don't sit at home with an ice pack. I lose. My wife doesn't eat. We don't eat. I got to go on the road so we could eat. So I can't do anything that I got to walk around. There's 6-hour flights. That's bad enough for your back. Like I tell people all the time, it's not the lifting weights that hurts my back. It's the 3 hours in the computer trying to type a fucking act. So sitting is the worst thing for you in the fucking world.
I know you're going to laugh at me, but maybe you should get a standing desk.
I'm way ahead of you. I think that's the next move. We measured the desk the other day. I have a big computer screen, so we're going to have to get a block.
Well, you can do those desks where they elevate and then go down. Like
right, yeah. They have
so
a
you can stand and then
ones.
Stand for a little while. When you're sick of that, sit down for a little while.
I went to my friend's office and saw the desk and he looks great by doing it. When did you consider writing the book about your findings?
So when I read Ken Hutchins and I had my boss on my head, I was like, okay, that's it, game changer. I'm changing my life. I realized I wasn't going to. All the researchers were making like $10,000 a year, and I was not going to make money in research for a long time, and money was part of my motivation for a career. Anyway, I was like, I think there's going to be a lot of people out there that would exercise if they knew that they're not going to kill themselves attempting to do it. I said, this needs to be known about, this idea of working out slowly and safely and get really strong without putting yourself in harm's way. That's a big message. That is a paradigm shift, actually. I hate that expression, paradigm shift, but this truly was in my mind. And I said, I'm going for it. I'm going to take this information that no one knows about and see if I can popularize it. And so I started just training people in the basement. I started my business part-time, in the basement of some smelly building. Chain smoker used to be in the space before me. And so my first gym actually smelled like cigarette smoke, but it was free. And I was actually able to train clients and practice what I was. And I went around. I went down, spent time with Ken Hutchins. I had all these mentors, and I just learned as much as I could. And I just went for it. Next thing you know it, one of my clients writes a letter to the local news station on Long Island, Channel 12 News on Long Island, very local station, and says, this changed my life. It's less is more. And I've tried everything else. I used to beat myself into the ground, but now with diet and just working out once a week really hard, but safely, it's changed my body. So they sent a news crew to my little hole in a wall basement. And I was like, wow, that was pretty easy. So I started writing letters to all the editors of all the major magazines everywhere. I just sent out 50. This is back in 97. I'm 30 years old now. It's back in 97. There's no internet to speak of. I can't just look in Google who's the editor-in-chief of this place and that place and send an email, right? I was writing actual letters, and I was buying all the magazines from the bodega to find out who these people were. I'd send out snail mail letters to probably 50 to 70 media sources, just saying I have this technique of working out once a week, 20 minutes. I never wrote a press release in my life, but I figured, how hard can it be? Next thing you know, nobody calls me except for one publication, the New York Times. I mean, I sent out, like I said, between 50 to 75 letters, and only one publication called me, the New York Times. They sent a reporter and a photographer down to my hole in the wall in Massapequa, Long Island, took a picture of me training somebody, and boom, I get calls from publishers. Everybody wants to know, what's this about? I get a million calls in Manhattan. I don't have a place in Manhattan. Everyone wants to work out with me in Manhattan. Doesn't seem like anyone on Long Island reads the Times, because I didn't get a single client on Long Island where I was. So I'm telling all these people that are calling me from New York, I'll be open. I have a place. I'll be open in 6 months. Give me your name and number. I'll be open in 6 months. I lied. I didn't have a place, but I started looking for. I got a broker. I got a place in Manhattan. I literally was open, I think, in 8 months. I called all those people back. 90% of them didn't know who the hell I was, but 10% did, and 10% came in. And my business on Long Island was doing very well, despite the fact that nobody read the New York Times article, but I was still doing really well there because people were talking. It was all word of mouth anyway. And believe it or not, my Long Island location supported the rent in Midtown Manhattan, a small little room in Midtown Manhattan. When you were there, Joey, it's much bigger. I expanded.
So you've been there since day one?
I've been there since year two. I had my business in Manhattan, on Massapequa in 97. I opened up the Manhattan location because of that New York Times article. I opened up the New York location in 99 in a small room. And then the Tuxedo place went out of business next to me. And that's when my book came out. It was perfect timing because that's when the flood of business came in. And then I became this media darling. I had my 15 minutes of fame for a while when the book came out. And the rest is history. But it was the New York Times article that led to the book deal. So I didn't seek out a book deal. As a matter of fact, it was funny. I was pretty pretentious at this time, full of piss and vinegar, and I thought my way was the only way you can do this workout is if you have a trainer. So when they said, let's do a book deal, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do a book deal because you can't do this on your own. And they talked me into it because they said, well, the principles of lifting weights slowly, the principles of working out hard and not killing yourself, that's universal. That's a principle that you can teach anyone, and you can do this with dumbbells, really, if you think about it, can't you? I'm like, well, that's true. So they had to kind of twist my arm a little bit, believe it or not, to get a book deal, which is kind of weird. That's how full of myself I was, to be honest with you. But anyway, I did it, and I got a lot more press from that point. Then a lot of media people were working out with us in Manhattan. And so what do I get credit for? I think I get credit for popularizing it, to bring it to the forefront. As far as the development of this, pioneering this, no, that credit goes to Ken Hutchins, Arthur Jones, and some people before them.
Now, when I go to the YMCA, they have free weights and they have machines. The machines that your facilities offer, are they handcrafted for specific exercises? Like we spoke about your squat machine. Yeah. I really enjoyed your squat machine. It wasn't like I was using my back. Yeah. I was basically, even if it was mediocre weight, because Jonathan was taking a little light on me at 3 minutes. Jesus fucking Christ.
But I think you learned pretty quickly that he's a pretty strong motherfucker.
It's weird how are those machines specifically made for your style of training?
Yeah, a lot of them are. I mean, that's why.
Is that where Ken Hutchins came in? Or
exactly. So Ken Hutchins said, by the way, we're doing all these things biomechanically incorrect, right? He says, there are biomechanics here, people. I mean, muscles have strength curves. They have weak points and they have strong points, and you shouldn't be overtaxing a muscle at its weak point. And free weights and conventional machines do exactly that. And again, we're trying to avoid joint problems. And a lot of times the reason we get hurt during exercise is because the weight's too heavy, when the joint is at its weakest position. So these machines that Ken Hutchins thought about, and Arthur Jones actually thought about even before him, is that you have to vary the resistance through the range of motion to match the weaknesses and strengths of that muscle group. So before that, the weight was way too heavy through a range of motion. So now Ken Hutchins says, you know what, we're going to make it lighter here, we're going to make it heavier here, and match the strength curve of that muscle and make it much more friendlier for the joint. Especially when you're lifting weights slowly. When you lift weights slowly, it really magnifies those differences in the strength curve. So without getting too technical, bottom line is Ken Hutchins redesigned the original Nautilus machines that Arthur Jones came up with and made it much more smooth and safer for the joints as you went through the range of motion. So yes, if you specialize in this type of technique of training, the slow lifting to failure, there are machines out there that are more accommodating for that. If you're lucky to work at a place like that, that's great. That's like the Rolls Royce of this type of workout. But like my team at the publisher said, the principles are still the same, right? I mean, there are ways of getting around that if you know what you're doing. And that's what my book did. Is that I knew no one was going to have access around the country and world. The book ended up being a bestseller. So, there's a lot of copies of that book out there all over the place. And, I came up with routines that had nothing to do with my equipment because I knew people weren't going to really have access to my equipment. So I showed them how you can do it with regular stuff. There are some things you just avoid. You don't want to do a lateral raise straight up like that. It really hurts the shoulder. And that's one of the most popular exercises around. And people are doing this all day long. You got trainers killing people's shoulders without even knowing it, So we show you how to do that without hurting your shoulders, even with a free weight. So they're little tricks, and so you can just, honestly, it's not rocket science. You just want to avoid hurting yourself. Like I said at the beginning of the show, you want to get fit but not undermine your health. And part of that health is joint health. I mean, half the problem, God forbid, cancer is a big one, right? But like after cancer and some of the big ones that really kill you, the next one is like living in pain your whole life with hip problems and back problems and shoulder problems. Who wants to live like that? There are a lot of people in a lot of pain. And again, ironically, it's because they were told how to work out a certain way, doing jujitsu in the name of exercise. Now, jujitsu is great. One of the big things that Ken Hutchins loved to talk about was the distinction between exercise and recreation. And what people do is they end up thinking they're doing something recreational like jujitsu or something really challenging, basketball, wrestling, right? These are sports. Sports were not meant to get you in shape. Sports are sports. It's competition, right? That's fun. It's challenging. There's a lot of benefits to playing sports, but it's not technically good exercise. If your definition of exercise is to get strong and not take any risk, and that's my definition of exercise. That was Ken Hutchins' definition of exercise. It says exercise to get strong and don't put yourself in any risk. Play sports because you like sports. And you like all the other things that come from sports. But don't confuse the two. Don't confuse your exercise with sports and vice versa. So when you're talking about the clean and jerks you were doing and all those Olympic lifts you're doing, Olympic lifts are sport lifts. That's a technique. For exercise, it's a poor choice for exercise because you're going to hurt yourself doing those Olympic lifts. That's a tough stuff. That's why CrossFit is kind of like more of a sport than really safe exercise.
I look at what's going on today. I look at football. I look at how they shine children away from football and how I came from a town where they encouraged football in the first grade. All my friends that come to my shows now have known each other from Pee Wee football. And then you go on to Red Eagle football and Red Raider football. And what my hometown does is they teach you those plays. So when you become a freshman, you already have the fundamentals of that play. But along came called the Bruin mentality. North Bergen is the second hilliest town in the country behind San Francisco. So every coach you had was hill crazy. I still remember freshman year, this fucking scumbag of a man, Dan Reardon, who, if we lost, would make us run up and down a certain hill with our hands up. It was barbaric ways of lifting. There were kids that were lifting to get strong and to benefit, and then it was the early 80s where it was an epidemic of syringes. So half of us had to make a decision of who did what. But no matter where you went in my hometown, the workouts were brutal. You know, we'd pile on 300 pounds. There was no science. We kind of used Irish science, but today I can't shoot a basketball. Today there's 1,000 things I can't do because I still remember putting 185 and doing behind the necks, 5 sets of 6, and hearing things popping, but you weren't allowed to complain where I'm from. Mm-mm. There was no pain. I remember a time we would make milkshakes with gallons of ice cream and 12 eggs because the Barbarian Brothers. Do you remember the Barbarian Brothers?
No,
they were 2 fucking steroid twins from the 80s that just said that they didn't do steroids. They just ate 36 eggs a day. So here, everybody in America, you'd see people eating everybody smelled like fucking farts. And everybody was eating raw eggs all day. One of those hard-boiled eggs because of our Barbarian Brothers. But what we did, looking back on it, was destroying our bodies without looking at it. Now it's 2019, and Lee lives in my neighborhood, and we'll attest to this. And we could take a ride after this, and you'll see it. Once you hit Riverside or Magnolia, once you start going on those after Magnolia, you guys are going to start seeing a bunch of CrossFit gyms. With the main one being one on Ventura Boulevard, that as you're driving, you see these fucking morons not even doing the farmer walks. They're doing the one-arm farmer walks. And, you know, I'm watching, you know, I go online and I see what they're doing. And it is amazing. I love kettlebells. But let me tell you something. Somewhere along the line, you're going to get hurt with kettlebells because if you see their basic swing, look at the arch of your spine.
Exactly. You nailed it.
It doesn't take a fucking genius. And I'm not a kinesiologist. I didn't take PE in fucking University of Colorado. I'm just telling you by looking and how I felt.
Thank you.
When I was doing those things. Pavlov, whoever the fuck his name. What's his name?
Pavlov's dog?
No, what's the fucking guy that did the kettlebells?
The hard style kettlebells. It's a Russian dude.
Oh, the Russian guy. Yeah.
Russian dude.
Yeah.
He made one great point. If you read what he read kettlebells are designed not to burn you out, but to make you feel like you did something. In other words, he has it like this shit of 10 sets of 10 swings in 10 minutes and then 16 sets of cleans. That wasn't his intention. That's what us as greedy Americans, be number one, added to it. Whatever his name wanted you to do, 3 sets of 12, maybe 3 sets of 10 cleans, and maybe 4 Turkish get-ups, and that was it. It wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to bring your muscles to be alive, to energize, to put blood in your muscles, and that was it. But I think somewhere, as us as Americans, we've abused this, and in the next 20 years, the injuries from CrossFit are going to be, these kids are not going to be able to wipe their asses.
We're going backwards.
We're going back, and that's what made me, when I read your page, your book, I read the Pure Strength pamphlet. I said, wow, we're on to something.
Yeah, that's where you're working at. It's Pure Strength. I mean, like you said, it's a small little place. I mean, meanwhile, there's CrossFit all over the place. I mean, it drives me crazy.
I will get in the car with you and you go, Joey, no, it isn't. I will show you just on Koufax. There's 2 in the same center. So while you're waiting for the left to change on Ventura, you'll see them running upstairs with farmers walks, and they go back and forth. Once you hook that left, no exaggeration, 30 yards, it's called something, Lee, the Kettlebell Kingdom. 2 floors. I mean, listen, you got to do a lot of swinging to keep those lights on. You know what I'm saying? There better be a lot of motherfuckers swinging. Will you ever see Narcos, Mexico?
I know the show.
Did you see Narcos Mexico?
I watched
the episode of Narcos Mexico. The guy was saving the farm and he lost his eye. So at the first meeting with the gangsters, he goes, "What did you guys do? You guys just let them take the weed from you?" The guy raises his hands. He goes, "Senor, I lost an eye." And he goes, "Yeah, well, I see a lot of motherfuckers here with 2 eyes." You know, you could. It's amazing. And you'll be driving on Ventura, and when it gets to be 99 on those days, because in L.A. it's 89 at lunchtime. It's bearable. It's 3:30, where it's like you get in your car and it says 108. You're like, Jesus Christ! And then you drive a little bit and it's 99 or 100. Drive on Ventura at 3:30 and see what you see when you make that left. You're gonna go, wait until the lawsuits start coming in.
You know,
they got them walking up and downstairs, running down Ventura, farmer walks, doing this shit while they're running with fucking kettlebells. You know, it is, and you look at it now as a 56-year-old, I'm like, they're not getting nowhere. They're killing themselves to live.
Yeah, but if I tell somebody that believes in that,
oh yeah, you'll have an argument. People are gonna send me 1,000 things.
I'm an asshole
and call me a fat fuck for saying this stuff.
Well, so Joey, like, what about Adam appealed to you? Because, like, as someone who has every workout class and every gym always say, "Oh, well, we're changing the game and this is different," and everyone has like that like claim, and some of them suck and some of them are great. Like what about his?
I
thing
critique
really?
You for yelping people. I don't believe in Yelp.
Okay.
Yelp could suck my dick. You know, a lady comes in and works out with Jonathan. She really wants to suck his dick. So Jonathan is great, but then I go see Jonathan. He sucks ass. I don't want to. I took the style of working out, and I just Googled it and WebMD'd it, and the results were results I wanted. It took away the beginnings of diabetes too, because of the weight training and the rise of insulin. It plays into that game.
But you also lost a lot of weight.
It played in the game of lowering your blood pressure. What's the first thing they tell you? Not, God forbid, anybody in this room. What's the first thing they tell you when your grandpa gets a heart attack? He made it because he was strong. Mm-hmm. What they just tell you? They didn't tell you he made it because he could run from here to Montezuma's to get revenge. You know, thank God he made those runs every day. They really saved his life. They always say that to you. He made it because he was strong. I knew him taking out the garbage would do it all those years, whatever the fuck. Strength is big.
Yeah, you know, what I think to help you answer the question is that it's down to its basic common denominator. It's stripped down. It's exercise stripped down to what you're supposed to do, the purpose of it. And that rings true to a lot of people. When you say exercise is just about getting strong, like you just said, it's not about being able to run to Montezuma. It's being strong. That's what saves your life. And it's, for me, the message is very clear. Let's forget all this bells and whistles stuff and kettlebells and different techniques and killing yourself and working out really hard. Yes, working out hard is important. You got to push yourself. But why push yourself to get hurt? That's a very simple question that can be easily fixed. Just work out hard. Yes, work out hard, but just do it in a safe way so you don't pay the price later. That's all we're saying. That's all Ken Hutchins said. And that rang true with me because I'm licking my wounds. And Joey, you're licking your wounds, and you've been there, done that. And then you have Ira in your head. He's like, hey, well, I had one coach that told me not to do it because the intuition has been there. And way before Ira, in 1980, I think you said it was around, but there was this Bob Hoffman, a bodybuilder called Bob Hoffman, wrote an article. Don't quote me on this, but I think it was about 1962. In 1962, Bob Hoffman wrote an article in one of the strength magazines talking about lifting weights slowly. Again, the intuition has been there about lifting weights slowly and safely to really fatigue a muscle. This is not hard stuff to get around. And then you ask yourself, well, if just fatiguing the muscle is what it's all about, then why are we doing all those other things? Why are we doing 3 sets of 10 and 15 different ways that are going to compromise the joints when it's not necessary, when people are getting just as strong working out once a week for 20 minutes? I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You can work out 3 days a week, 4 days a week versus once a week, the way we prescribe, and people aren't getting 4 times stronger than our clients. I mean, if you're going to work out 4 times as long, you better have 4 times the results, but not even close. You know, maybe 1.5 times the results, but at what risk? So, you know, I kind of feel that our workout is not so much about this great scientific discovery, because we've all known you have to work out hard. What I think is great about this workout, it's about risk management. That's what we're finally taking into account. Nobody takes into account the risk associated with a stimulus like exercise, a very powerful stimulus exercises, and it can do as much harm as it can do good. And when you know what if you respect exercise for the fact that it can do harm and it can do good, when you start to respect it and say, how do we get the most out of it without hurting ourselves? This is what it becomes. It becomes lifting weights slowly, once or twice a week, and I don't know. Everything else kind of pales in comparison until something even more efficient or safer even comes along. So I'm open for more suggestions.
It's crazy
as time
how
goes on.
The first 3 or 4 weeks, I was like, this is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I just got duped. And then something started to happen. I would walk out of there, and I'd feel like a fucking bus hit me. The walk to the car was like shit was moving. I'll never forget being at a light one day in my Subaru, and my forearm just started
Quivering.
And I was like, and then I went another month. I signed up for another month. What the fuck? And that month, you know, now I couldn't go to box on Tuesday mornings. Like, Jesus Christ, I can't fucking. And God forbid you don't do something Wednesday because it attacks you even more. You're like, what did I fucking do? I did these things with my legs, and I did
took 20 minutes.
Pushed them in, and I pulled down on something, and I turned on something, and I can't fucking move. I got to go to the Chinese lady at Happy Hands over here, the best massage, $40. I took lead. No hand job, nothing like that. Legit. They soak your feet. Nicest people. I got a punch card and everything. They're tremendous. Ying Ying. I don't know.
You get a free one after 10?
I was going to say, that's why you brought me to get the free one.
I took him because I wanted him to experience it. It's a nice little afternoon thing. But all jokes aside, it was rough. I couldn't. It was either going. And I started, when I did it for one time for 2 months, 1 time a week for 2 months. And then I said, I got to jump on this. But I tell you what made me a believer afterward. The breathing. I liked the breathing, and I liked it when, you know, when you go to a gym, I got to hear fucking rap music or fucking reggaeton. You know, 1 out of 10 gyms really has on what you want. You guys didn't have that. You guys have yourself to listen to. And that's really different when there's no bells, there's no whistles, and you're really listening to your body.
That also came from Ken Hutchins, by the way.
That is the most brilliant part of that workout. I incorporate that workout Mondays and Thursdays. I want my Mondays to start in my head. While I'm working out, we really don't have... When you and I were working out, John, we talked, but we kept it, you know. And the other thing is that it's what America's praising today. If you talk to every exercise specialist, they're talking to you about HIIT, about doing 3 minutes, resting 30 seconds. You know, the first couple times you do the squat at your place,
same thing.
You need a couple fucking minute rest. But the more consistent I get, now I'm turning this into a HIIT program. I'm going from there to the benching, right, to the pulling, to the fucking V things, to the back machine. And now you're turning into this. And you know what? It's funny. Like, I think I looked at one of your web pages or one of your videos on YouTube, and there's a joke. The guy's like, why is he working out with his suit? Bitch, because you don't even break a sweat, you dumb motherfucker. You just know that you've been hit.
Yeah, people
by a brick.
We literally have these businessmen in Manhattan coming in. They loosen their tie, they take their sports jacket off, and they work out just like that. And people make fun of us for that. Like, it must be some kind of pussy workout or something like that. And we laugh back in their face, like you just said, you know? Yeah, we're actually working out. We don't even have to break a sweat, but we're getting just as strong as you are, motherfucker, right? And you're spending hours.
You walk out of there, and right now I'm walking around 294. When I joined the program, I was about 292. I'm sure, they do a BMI test over at the strength, and I have put on muscle. I've lost fat. Listen, I'm over 50. I got a child. I got 1,000 things on my plate. I wish I could go to jiu-jitsu for 3 hours a week. I wish I could kickbox for 2 hours a week. I'm 56. Recovery is a lot. And this is where this program also stresses two things that America loves, and that's rest and recovery. If I moved to New York tomorrow and I come see you and I had $1 million and I said to you, Coach, I'm ready, you'd say, Joey, I'd love to take your fucking money, but for you to see the results, how about I see you Monday and maybe Thursday, and I'll switch up the results for you, and then we'll see where you go from there. Right. I love to take your money. I love people who say, I'm going to go see John 5 days this week. Bitch,
take it.
You'll come in a wheelchair. By my Thursday, you're like, today I could just do the pull down up to here.
No, you can't do this.
You can't. Why is the recovery from this type of exercise so important? Why do you stress?
Well, it's intense. I mean, you're.
What does it do to your muscle that bodybuilding doesn't do, for example? Like if I was a bodybuilder, bodybuilders go push Monday, pull Tuesday, Wednesday off, push Monday, pull Tuesday, Friday and Saturday off. Sunday, the steroids kick in. You go down the shore, you come back, you look in the mirror, you're like, I'm bigger than ever. Because I didn't lift the last 2 days, and you just realized I recovered.
There's a couple of things going on with bodybuilders. First of all, bodybuilders gravitate to bodybuilding because they have a natural inclination to get big. They see it, so they gravitate towards it. We all gravitate to things that we're good at. So early on, bodybuilders usually find that they're good at weightlifting. Something draws them to it. Secondly, they have the body type that happens to do well under a lot of exercise. There are genotypes. There are genetic profiles of people. And there's lots of different genetic markers and if you have the royal flush of genetic markers, you could work out almost every day and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, of course, like you said, if the steroids involved, which improves recovery ability, your natural recovery ability, you can even work out more and get bigger. But the thing is, if you don't have that genetics, it doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to get big like those guys. For most of us, because that genotype, the bodybuilder genotype is rare. It's very rare. Unless you're hanging out at a Gold's Gym, it seems like they're all around you. But like in real world, those types of body types, they've kind of evolution, actually millions of years of evolution, kind of they're a rare type because they didn't survive very well in famines. They need too much energy to support all that muscle. But anyway, most of us need that rest and recovery. When we work out this deeply, there is a natural recovery process that we underestimate. We think more is better. We think if we're not sore anymore, we're ready to go. But just because soreness goes away doesn't mean that the building process of muscle has ended. You still need more time. Think about getting a cut, a scrape. It doesn't heal overnight, right? I mean, you get a scrape, it's not bleeding anymore. There's a scab on it. But what if you pick at that scab all the time? It's not going to heal. But if you leave it alone, even though it's not sore anymore, all right, there might be a scab there. It doesn't hurt anymore. It's not sensitive. It doesn't itch, but it's still healing. It's still going to take a couple of weeks to heal. Well, the biological process of healing a scab or a cut is very similar to rebuilding a muscle after you fatigued it very deeply. So just because the soreness goes away, there's 2, 3, 4, or 5 more steps that the body goes through to build that muscle up. And you don't want to break down the muscle before it's had a chance to build all the way up. And when we work out too much, we end up picking at that scab and we never let the muscle reach its full potential. And we delay the process of getting stronger. So actually, again, we look at the strength levels. If you're getting stronger working out once a week after week after week, I can keep raising your weights and you keep getting stronger. Why add more to it when once a week is working fine? You're getting stronger. We're measuring it.
Is this program extra effective for professional athletes who have a long season and get hurt, are getting hurt and their bodies are hurt almost at the end of the season, stuff like that?
Slowly and surely, the athletic trainers of the professional teams and college teams are starting to recognize this, keep them safe, this risk management attitude, and they are slowly breaking out of that jock mentality of just hitting a weight room at all costs with all types of methods. Slowly, I think athletes would benefit from less wear and tear in a weight room because they're already going through wear and tear for their sport. So I've always said, again, Ken Hutchins and Arthur Jones, they, way before me, have said the same thing, that you put an athlete in a weight room, you're turning them into weight trainers, not the athlete that they're supposed to be. So take basketball. So if a basketball player is in a weight room all the time, you're turning him into a weightlifter, not a basketball player. You got to get these guys strong as safely as possible, and then let them play their sport, develop the skills to play their sport. That's the new paradigm for athletes and everything, and slowly but surely they're picking up on it, but not fast enough. There's still so many athletes overtraining and getting hurt. They're not putting the pieces together. They're not realizing that one of the reasons they're getting hurt so much is because they're overtraining in the gym and they're doing too much and not allowing enough recovery. It's too bad.
I didn't have a weight problem until I moved to LA. I focused on comedy and I strayed from the gym, but I always liked lifting weights. And I could tell the difference in what I'm lifting then and what I'm lifting now, and I could see the wasted movement. A curl, for example, 40% of it is wasted movement. After a certain thing, you don't even feel the muscle getting stimulated. You're giving the muscle time to breathe, and then you're going back up again. With your system, we don't specialize in curls. We have a pull down. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the pull down, when you contract, you bet your ass you feel those biceps. Are they going to have a fucking cable coming out of them like Rocky Balboa? No. Mm-hmm. But the strength is increasing. What I found from this program, the most beneficial for me was, there was a plateau I had with it, where it started giving me anxiety. Okay, and I narrowed it down to my breathing. The breathing had to be just right, especially on the squat. I would go there. It started to become me going there, thinking to myself, is this the day I pass out on the squat machine? Because the anxiety is brutal. To really do 3 minutes of some max weight, that last 30 seconds, your heart's pumping, your thighs are on fire, that one muscle in your side of your leg by your calf is on fire, your feet, but you're focusing on your breathing. I suffer from sleep apnea. And they did a research a couple of years ago that people who suffer from sleep apnea, the cancer rates were going up because of lack of oxygen.
And lack of sleep.
And lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep. Lack of sleep
is a motherfucker.
Sleep is very healing.
Listen, that'll kill you. That'll kill you more than Oxycontins. If you ain't sleeping,
it's true.
I know for a fact because I lived as a non-sleeper, and now I live by somebody who logs their sleep hours. I log sleep hours. At the end of the month, I have to take a disc out of my machine and send it to a lab. In fact, they've gotten so ahead of the game, they send me an email. And the email tells you what nights you slept dehydrated. Like last night, I'm not going to lie to nobody, I got there at 7:30 and I had a beer.
Well, you saw Guns N' Roses.
I'm sure that will come out in that report, that because there was alcohol in my system, I was a little dehydrated. I drank 92 waters after that beer, and half a fucking margarita. Who we lying? I had to have a half a margarita.
And some edibles.
I had 20 Weight Watcher points left over. What's wrong with a half a margarita? It's good for the soul.
25 milligrams.
25.
25.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That was light, Jack. But it's, I really enjoyed your gym in New York. When you think of it, you know, if you're living in California or Arizona or whatever, I really, really advise you to stop by and say hello to Adam or John or one of the other trainers or the crazy blonde at the front desk, and who I love to death. And I'll tell you why. I was, you know, everything about New York says intimidation. And guess what? I walked those streets with a gun, without a gun for 20 fucking years. I walked from 20th to 88th Street back. I can't tell you how many people I've seen mugged on the A Train Express and the regular one. And still till this day, I'm intimidated when I walk into New York. You know how much courage it took for me to have to call? I just asked Mrs. G. I said, who's the cat? Who's the motherfucker in charge in New York of doing this shit? And she said, the King of Swing over on 51st Street. But there's a joint in Jersey. But I would have had to take 18 rides down there, and I didn't like their webpage. Their webpage, it looks like you might fall asleep, and next thing you know, you're on Jeffrey Epstein's island by mistake.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Doing jumping jacks in front of a bunch of
What does
senators.
it say on their website?
And senators clapping for you. I don't know.
It says some fucked
was
up
just
shit, apparently.
It was a Chinese guy. He had blurred eyes. I don't trust that shit. I want to see the eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? Why are you teaching this poor old man how to do squat and your face is blacked out? It's like, it looked like an FBI surveillance photo or some shit. Like in Short Hills, New Jersey. She told me to go see you. I went up there. I took an Uber. As I went up the stairs, I shit my pants. And when I walked in, I was home.
Oh.
You had the little waiting area. You had a little margarita bar, whatever the fuck you got there, selling fucking smoothies and shit. And everybody was very, you know, you took my guard away. Like, I was expecting to go up there and go, oh, it's you, sit down. Somebody will be with you in 5 minutes. And then some guy would come out with a cigarette and go, you ready, kid? And then you go back there and there's 18 assholes. No, in fact, it was like going to acupuncture and lifting weights. It was, you know, all I needed was the Chinese flute in the back to make me feel even warmer. And
well, thanks for saying that.
Listen, fat people in America and people who are out of shape in America are not fat because it's their choice. It's heavy and set and whatever. I don't mean to insult anybody. It's the fear. It's the fear. It's the fear. If you've never gone to a pool and seen a 500 guy man with a T-shirt on at the pool in the water, you feel for him if you have any type of compassion. But you also get angry at him because you know there's help. He's just a drug addict in a different way, just like I was. You know, I look at my 6-year-old daughter, I got to chase her from time to time. What am I going to do if I can't fucking chase her? So, comedy, let me tell you something, my friend. I went to see Guns N' Roses last night. They did a 3-hour rehearsal. They're all over 50, right? They did a 3-hour rehearsal. Then they played for 3 hours. When I had Duff McKagan on here, Duff McKagan goes to kickboxing 5 days a week with Benny the Jet, whatever his fucking name is. When you saw him running around that stage, you saw what it required. If you don't think the Stones have somebody doing jumping jacks with them and push-ups
Jumping Jack Flash
at the edge at 70, you're mistaken. When I did Grudge Match with De Niro, he had his own personal trainer, and for De Niro to be De Niro, he has to work out 5 days a week for an hour, all calisthenics and pull-ups and stuff like that. So for me to do what I want to do on stage and not have a heart attack, this is the best thing I could ever do. And I
congratulations. Keep it going, man. Keep it going.
No, I'm not going anywhere. This is part of my routine. I don't sweat going down there no more. I know that my legs are going to shake, you know, a little bit. And I know that, like, I'll go Thursday and then get on a plane. So I'll stretch really well and then get on a plane. At least, you know, the only thing that people don't understand about this program is that when you put it into your Weight Watcher app, you only get 4 points, and you go, "What the fuck is this?" But in reality, you're really burning 10,000 points.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Because what a lot of people don't know about exercising, it's like swimming. Yeah, but swimming burns the most calories while you swim. That's the correct word, bitch. While you swim. What happens when you jump out of the water? Your metabolism stops. With your method of weightlifting, I know my metabolism is fucking going.
Yeah, anything that pushes you to the max. I mean, when you're swimming slow and steady, you're not pushing yourself to the max. So it's about pushing yourself to the max, and that's what we're doing. We're taking your muscles till they have nothing left, and that has very profound effects when you do that.
Now, is this with proper diet? You see big weight losses so far, you guys?
Yeah, proper diet is the key word.
Well, especially living in New York. I mean, living in New York, it's a tough way to get a diet, but New York isn't the old New York. You're getting offered a lot of options now in New York. A lot of options if you don't want to be a fat fuck. You know,
No doubt.
I would go up to your neighborhood and I'd walk. You know, even though my hotel was on 36th Street, I'd leave your place and walk just to add to it. No, I'm not going to lie to you, I always got to get a slice. And then if I didn't get a slice, 2 doors down, there was a smoothie joint in the back.
You go to PJ Clark's?
Where was that?
That's the famous hamburger joint a block away.
No.
Next time.
Next time I'll go away. I would
you gotta
cross
go
the
PJ
street
Clark's
and head down. And 3 doors down, there's a smoothie place. It's like a kitchen in the front. But when you walk into the back, there's a little chick back there making smoothies. And she'd give me protein with a little pineapple, coconut water. Very nice. Not too much sugar from the fucking pineapple. Pineapple's got anti-inflammatory things that knock down. So I would take care of myself when I go see, you know what I'm saying? What do you got to tell me? Anything you want to drop on me about informed fitness?
No, I do want to drop something with you, though.
What do you got?
I got you a gift.
You did?
Yeah, you were talking, Rick Ocasek died,
Yes.
As you talked about on your last show.
Yes.
And you said you loved that second album. And I was at Amoeba, and I got you there. Second album.
Oh, you're fucking beautiful. And look what I had on.
I know. I heard it when I walked in.
First one on today.
I didn't want to say anything. I heard it when I came in, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to give away the surprise.
Oh, thank you very, very much. Adam, I will.
Rick Ocasek, rest in peace.
Did you see him around the city?
No, I didn't see him around the city, but I was a big Cars fan. I remember you were joking around. No one let you play Cars in their house or their car, and like you were like, "Fuck you." The Cars are a great band.
Great band.
And they are a great band. And I love them, and it brings I hear the Cars. It brings me back to my youth and really good memories of summer camp and everything. I grew up with Jewish parents, so they send you away to summer camp every year. So like I have, these great memories of listening to the Cars in summer camp, and this band. And when I heard he died, I shed a tear.
I shed a tear last Sunday. I was sitting there watching football, and somebody sent me a message. And I was like, "Wow!" Like it's crazy when our heroes die. You're like, "How can Rick Ocasek die?" Like how can? But he did.
We forget. We were listening. We were. You and I are more or less the same age.
I was, freshman in high school maybe when it went down.
I'm a little bit younger than you, so I was my last year of summer camp. Right before I stopped going to summer camp, and that was the album that was playing.
Where can they find your book at, brother?
Anywhere. Power of 10. Google it. Amazon. Anywhere.
You have it on the website also?
Sure, on my website. I have a podcast if you want to hear more about this and get into the weeds a little bit about the exercise science and all the stuff behind it. Hear the interviews with some of these incredible people out there that, I'm not the sole pioneer with this. I'm not the sole proselytizer. There are a lot of people that are jumping on this bandwagon and understanding what we're doing here. And, quite honestly, when you told me your story, I don't get sick of hearing it. The reason I got into this business is because of people like you that didn't know that you shouldn't be doing anything else. You need to do this to stay strong and not get hurt. And there's a lot of people like that. It's not about sports to them. It's just about getting strong. And, that's what it's all about.
No, it's, I think that, I look at the insurance in this country and you just can't grow older anymore in this country. When you're in your 20s. I mean, there was a question I wanted to ask you before we tape off.
Oh.
What are the differences between a person who's 20 and the benefits of a guy like me that walk into your gym? If I'm a 25-year-old guy that's never touched a weight before, what benefits do I gain right off the top? I know what I gain as a 56-year-old.
Yeah.
My dick is harder than Chinese arithmetic. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
But I'm sorry to place it like that. I know you have a lot of people, professionals who are listening, but there's a lot of guys my age who suffer from erectile dysfunction.
It's important.
And it's important. Hey, listen, I just got fucking hearing aids. Could I go without my ears? You could chuck them both off. In fact, take an eye while you're at it and take my fingers. But let the fucking main thing I'm on this world still work to the end of time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that adding that blood to your legs and that, you know, I know that both of you, when you walk into your gym, first thing you do is the squat. You know, to loosen everything up, and it releases.
Well, to get it over with.
What's up?
to get it over with.
Yeah. You release THC,
yeah.
No, releases TGF, ACH into your stream, which more helps you burn down more metabolism and stuff like that.
There's a whole cascade of great things that happen.
Unbelievable.
If you work out hard like
what is the difference? What are the effects on a 25-year-old to say on a 56-year-old piece of shit like myself?
That's a good question. I mean, I just say to it makes me think about, I wish I knew about this when I was 25 years old or even younger. I would have gotten as strong as I was back then, but I wouldn't. I mean, I had back surgery because of working out, the crazy, doing deadlifts and all that kind of crazy high force activity. And I've been basically suffering with back pain ever since I was a teenager. And again, you know, a 25-year-old that understands that you can work out really hard and get strong as shit and safely, they don't have to worry. They don't have to suffer with the injuries that us old farts are dealing with now. And that's what they can benefit from this. There's no workout that's going to do better for them just because they're 25 years old. You got to work out hard. They might have faster recovery ability, right? So if you're 25 years old, you heal faster. So maybe they can work out a little bit more often. But it's not like they're doing this every day either. Even if you're 25, you still can't sustain this, every single day. So maybe they can come twice a week, and get the benefits from it. But outside of just maybe being able to do it a little bit more often, the biggest gain that they get from this is learning that they don't have to kill themselves to get into shape, and they can lead a pain-free life their whole life, and that's a huge thing. I mean, I've suffered with my back over the years. I've suffered. I mean, spasms and bedridden and pain on a regular basis. And it wasn't until I started doing the lower back extensions and changing my diet, doing more of an anti-inflammatory diet. I can't handle sugar at all, or else my back starts hurting. So between an anti-inflammatory diet and working out safely and not fucking my back up in the process while I work out, I would do anything to be 21 years old again and not do those deadlifts like I did and do it this way instead.
When are you still working out yourself still? You look great.
Thank you. Yeah, of course.
Once a week, twice
a week. I have my little routine that I do.
John trains you.
John's so damn busy. They're all so busy. I can't get anyone to train me. They'll make me pay them.
I really.
They're like, we're expensive, Adam. If I'll train you, but you have to pay the session fee. No free sessions, man.
No, there's no fucking free in my world, bitch. This is. I really enjoy reading your book. I'm happy it opened up my eyes and it reminded me of this style of lifting. It's been 15 months. I feel great. I'm stronger. My posture is insane. After two shows a night, I used to go back to the room and have to stretch out my hips. I don't have hip problems at all, but
good for you.
Things would feel tight. Ever since I've been doing the squats, my strength on stage, I saw it. I feel it when I'm on stage. Sometimes I used to make a move on the stage and I'd have to stop because I'd get an anxiety attack. The squats also helped me get off the fight or flight. What's that called?
Fight or flight, yeah.
Fight or flight response. Because the first couple times I was like, I got to stop. Like that's it. Now to get up and rest, and I get dizzy, and then you're like, "What do I pay this money for? Not to get dizzy. I have to breathe this out." The breathing is so important. The breathing will get you an extra 1 or 2 reps when you're fucking like, Jesus Christ, oh fuck. And you just keep breathing. And
you bring up a good point, because you were saying how the first couple of times you thought it was bullshit because
you're finding our range, we're finding you.
Well, exactly.
It's like 3 fucking dates.
This is high intensity.
It's like 3 dates.
This is safe exercise, right? This is safe, but it's hard. So like you don't just like take somebody off the street the first time and kick their ass. I mean, I've done that and I've lost them. They don't come back.
They won't come back.
But then again, you take the risk of saying, listen, we're going to take it easy the first couple times, learn the technique, learn how to breathe. And then they walk out, they don't feel anything and they don't come back. So you have to kind of get their attention, but not too much, because you don't want to hurt them and discourage them. So there's this fine line between getting them to feel, wow, that was cool, that was different, I can see myself doing this, and not killing them the first time. So they probably took it easy on you the first time, and maybe they could have pushed you a little bit harder to make you feel like, but you stuck it out, and now you know.
Well, I'm happy. I'm happy that you guys are running a great little establishment in New York. I want, if anybody listens to this and they have a parent or a mom, because when Ken started this, he started this with a bunch of women.
Yeah, Osmosis Project, University of Florida. You did your homework, man.
Yeah, man, I don't fuck around. He started this to see the bone growth on older people. That's where he started this. He just said, where are there a bunch of old people who are weak? Florida. And he started this thing, and that's where he saw the growth. So if you have a parent, an uncle, somebody who you see who's falling behind the wayside, if you're in the New York City area,
it's never too late either.
No.
We have a client in New York. She's 95. Dear Betty. There's a video of her on our website. She's 96 now.
How many days a week?
Once.
That's all she needs.
It's a trek for her to get to us, too. For a 95-year-old lady to come all the way across town, it's work for her. That's what she does for the day. She comes to us, she works out, she goes home. That's her activity for the day.
Well, I was really happy that you came on today because I want to tell you about your system. I didn't tell this to the church. Yeah, I got the hearing aids this week, and it's good. I'm getting older, but about a year ago, I went for a physical when he said that my heart was a little weird. Then right before I went to see you guys, I went for a physical, and like a week before I met you guys, I finally went to see my heart doctor. And he had done a bunch of things, and he goes, I don't know why. Now, when I went to see you guys, I had been doing it was April, about 8 months, this program. So I came back from seeing you guys, and then that's when they did the ink. That's what it was. They did the ink shit before I left. And I couldn't get the results because many saints have called me in that quickly. So for 3 weeks, when I went to see you guys, I'm like, let's take it a little easy, just in case. And I was, I walked a lot and the whole thing. And when I came back, the guy goes, listen, I looked at your EKGs or whatever. He just saw a bump. But looking from my thing now, your heart hasn't gotten any worse. They say sleep apnea put a big strain on my heart, over the years. And he goes, it doesn't look as bad as it did a couple years ago. And I told him, I've been lifting and working out. And he went into this whole thing about lifting over 40 and getting ready for your 50s is golden. He goes, because that's the high heart attack. He goes, if you make it to 60, if you don't, he's a fucking wild guy, this guy. He goes, if you don't make it to 60 and you don't start doing don't start doing coke out of the blue. He goes, if you hit 60, you'll hit 70. He goes, my experience is between the 50 and 60 mark. So
shit.
I could see that the results are in, guys. So there you have it. Hey, man, where's their address to you?
201 East 56th Street in Manhattan.
Nice.
And we have one in Port Washington, Long Island.
I was going to say, do you tell the other one?
Port Washington, Long Island. We got a couple in Virginia.
And all trained by you, certified
Northern California, yep.
Where's the one in Northern California?
We got one in Sonoma.
Really?
Form Fitness Sonoma, yeah.
So
Ronert Park.
There you go. You can drink wine and lift weights. Cocksuckers. No excuse. Shit like that.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me.
And the website is?
Informfitness.com.
That's it. It's that simple. And if you're not available, ask for the heir to the throne right there.
He is.
He's the heir to the throne.
He's an old soul, that Jonathan.
He's got a haircut now. He's ready. He might be like John Gotti. He might shoot you having a steak at Sparks.
He's your biggest fan, you know.
No, I know. He's my brother. He took good care of me in New York. I appreciate you guys coming on, explaining your love and magic.
Thank you, man.
For what you do. Don't forget, cocksuckers, you got 5 days to Chicago. We're lighting the city on fire. I spoke to Josh Bassini from 10th Planet. He's picking me up. Even though I'm taking care of my heart can suck my dick when I'm in Chicago. Because you always got to get a hot beef sandwich with a sausage in the middle, or you ain't shit. And you got to stop by the Polacks and get a few pierogies, too. So I'll see you savages. Friday night, Chicago. 2 weeks, the Uptown Theater in Kansas City. And the following night, on the 12th of October, they just added a show at the Denver Paramount. It's a 9:30 show, whatever. Do what you need to do. Bring it on home. Real quick, before I take off, I want to read you a little word from my sponsors. Don't forget, tonight is Monday Night Football. You've been fucking sitting there all weekend with the thumb in your ass, but guess who's here? My bookie, bitches. Let me ask you something. If you found the yardstick on the street, would you put it back or would you keep walking? You're going to walk back a wallet? You're going to walk past a wallet? What type of fucking asshole are you? Listen, why are you keeping on picking winners and not betting them? That's why I go to my bookie. It's fast, it's easy, and they pay when you win. Let's face it, where you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. So if you're trying to bet on the NFL, baseball, UFC, Bellator, whatever, my bookie's got it. I wouldn't be telling you guys to bet with them if they weren't the best. Now do the right thing. If you're going to bet football this season, bet with my bookie. For starters, if you're the type of guy who likes to bet a little and win a lot, try a parlay. If all your picks come through, you multiply your winnings. And no matter how you bet, the NFL season is the best time of the year. So do me a favor. Cut the shit. You're fucking around. Double your deposit today, you cocksuckers. Use promo code CHURCH, CHURCH, and my bookie's going to give you a 100% bonus on your initial deposit up to $1,000. Who does that for you? They double your money just like that. Even fucking Ivan Boesky couldn't do that type of shit. Visit mybookie.ag.com today. That's my bookie. Grab a pen, because I know half of you is a fucking, mybookie.ag. And don't forget to use promo code CHURCH when creating your account to claim your bonus. Listen, with my bookie, you play, you win, you get paid. It's that simple. And don't forget to check Instagram on Thursday. I'm dropping the Uncle Joey, my bookie video pick of the week on Mad Flavors World. So I'll see you little cocksuckers there. And listen, it's that time of the year. Everybody's looking to hire somebody. Everybody's got problems. Everybody's got problems. Go to Listen, Dylan Miskowitz is a real ZipRecruiter customer who used ZipRecruiter to hire for his company Cafe Altura. The following is a testimonial script based from the employer. So do me a favor. Go over there and take a read at that. Hiring can be a slow process. Cafe Altura's CEO, Dylan Miskowitz, needed to hire a director of coffee for his organic coffee company, but he was having trouble finding a qualified candidate. Isn't that the story today? Half of these guys are mutts. They don't know what they're doing. But you know what Dylan did? He switched to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates for finding you. It finds them. Its technology identifies people with the right experience and invites them to apply to your job so you get qualified candidates today. Dylan posted on his on his ZipRecruiter, and he said he was impressed by how quickly he had been given candidates immediately. He also used ZipRecruiter's candidate rating feature to filter the applicants so he could focus on the most relevant ones. And that's how Dylan found his new director of coffee in a few days. With results like that, it's no wonder. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So do me a favor. See why ZipRecruiter is effective for businesses of all sizes. Whether you got one guy or 22 people, try ZipRecruiter for free. Listen, that's free. At ZipRecruiter.com/church, CHURCH. That's ZipRecruiter.com/church. ZipRecruiter.com, the smarter way to hire. I want to thank my bookie. I want to thank ZipRecruiter. I also want to thank CBD Lion. I gave my man Adam and Josh, you know me, I'm a man. I got like 22 fucking Joshes in my life, but it's Jonathan. I gave them both some CBD bookie. I gave them both some CBDlion.com, heavy duty on the milligrams. I gave them the tincture. They don't get you high. This is not a high. This is for support. Go to CBDlion.com and watch the lab results. See what each CBD treats. If they got it, listen, whether you smoke it, shatter it, tincture it, or you want the gummies, there ain't nothing better than a raspberry gummy from CBDlion.com. Go to CBDlion.com and press in.
Church.
Boom! And get 20% off your first order delivered to your house. No more liquor stores. No more fucking hand job parlor massages. CBD Lion is the way to go. I want to thank CBD Lion, my bookie, and ZipRecruiter. I want to thank the boys from Inline Fitness. Inform Fitness. I got to stop smoking this reefer at 6 in the morning. Inform Fitness for stopping and letting you know the beauty and the magic they're creating over there on 56th Street on the east side. I want to thank the Christ Killer, but most importantly, I want to thank you motherfuckers for supporting us. And I'll see you Friday, Chicago with Kate Quigley and my main man, Dean Del Rizzi. Stay black. Where's that Tony Bennett at?